So I have to say I loved that panel. That was wonderful, not only because we did get brought up, but because all of these amazing regenerative treatments are coming together and converging, and I think working very synergistically. So I'm Drew Taylor, and the CEO of Acorn Biolabs, and we are a personalized regenerative medicine company on that spectrum of synthetic to autologous and regenerative. We are on that far, far side. We are leveraging a patient's own stem cells, and so for the people in the room that have not heard of us, we are able to capture a patient's stem cells from plucking hair follicles from the back of the scalp. Those are mesenchymal stem cells, the same ones that are in bone marrow, the same ones that are spread thread or adipocytes. And we can actually cryogenically freeze those in our lab to stop time for that patient. So essentially, they now have a portion of their cells that won't age another day, and that we can call back upon from now and into the future to create regenerative applications for that patient, of which the first one we launched this past year, and I'm excited to share some results from. As a quick Acorn at a glance, we're about 45 people now. We're in over 200 specialty providers and practices across North America. We now have 3 IRB-approved injectable studies for this product that are ongoing currently. Have fantastic growth over the last year. We're really grateful for this opportunity to launch this product. And we now have patient data coming back with a 91% patient satisfaction after treatment, which is exciting. So the product is you. It's actually trademarked you because it is you in a bottle. It is your very own cells and the secretome that they release. So this is a topical cosmetic product. Essentially, we're growing out your own stem cells in the laboratory and collecting all of the growth factors, polynucleotides, exosomes, peptides and proteins, including matrix molecules like collagen, elastin, fibronectin, and hyaluronic acid. That gets lyophilized in a bottle. We create suites of these for the patient that get delivered back to the practice, and you now have a patient's own regenerative reserve off the shelf in-house. We have ongoing studies, like I mentioned, for an injectable version of this product, which is exciting and opens up applications beyond aesthetics into sports medicine, fertility, ophthalmology. And then we have future applications, which I'll tease a little bit here today, but essentially using the live cells themselves, and then also having the ability to change those cells, even reprogram them for future strategies, and creating virtually any cell type on demand. U is really a new class of opportunity. This is a true secretome. I know that's a bit of a new word, but I've been studying secretomes since about 2008, and ultimately this is really the convergence of all of these different molecules together. It's generated a fair bit of interest this year, and we're grateful for some awards because it has been performing in practices and making a difference in patients today. We've tested this out preclinically and have had up to 34 times higher levels the amount of growth factors that we find in that same patient population's PRP. And on top of that, we don't see the fluctuations based on age. And that's the important part, really, is that with PRP and some of these other regenerative applications that we're using autologously from that patient, we can see a degradation of their performance due to age, due to certain conditions that the patient has, even with PRP, their hydration, or they were out at the AIS after party the night before. So right now, we can actually create a consistent product across those different ages based on the molecules and the growth factors, and mass spec of actually looking at what is inside the secretome. Patients have had a great response, and we've received a little bit of attention. In this month's issue of Men's Health, we have Dr. S's clinic featured, and some of the patients that have gone through and received benefit today, which is quite exciting. And I think one of those things that people say is we want to see regenerative medicine delivering results right away. And so that's one thing that we're pushing forward, right? That not trying to reduce that waiting game and actually provide results quickly. Within the first month, we're actually demonstrating that glass-like skin, reducing pore size. This is combined with microneedling. Patients are also seeing results in under the skin, right? So when we actually look at some of the Visio scans that have demonstrated the amount of ultraviolet light damage and spotting, we can actually reverse that. And so some of these things that are recently in publications from Mayo and others, hallmarks of aging, we're actually seeing a reduction. And this is, I think, the promise of regenerative medicine. Typically, when we're thinking about synthetics, we're trying to slow down these processes from accumulating. We're trying to stop for the progression or slow that down. In this case, we're actually able to return some of that performance back to the skin and give it some of these abilities to perform back again at a more youthful state. Hair is another big target. There's multiple types of stem cells in the hair follicle. At the root and the base, the dermal papilla is obviously producing the keratin and responsible for that. But these MSCs that are present throughout the internet or root sheath are driving that secretome and these soluble factors down to the dermal papilla to perform. This has been documented not by us, but by many others. And so ultimately, by capturing the secretome from those cells and driving it into the scalp, in this case through pairing with a laser, we're able to actually see a response very quickly by day 90. And typically watching hair regrow is like watching paint dry, but from a topical application of a regenerative product, we're excited to see results very quickly for patients. Again, this is another one without laser, but paired with actually microneedling over 6 treatments across 6 months. And so this is a very tolerable application, obviously, versus injection, but injection is also ongoing right now, and we're excited to be running a study to actually demonstrate the value of this as an injectable in the hands with Dr. Craig Zaring, actually out of Beverly Hills. The other one that's going on is actually injecting this in skin with Dr. Steve Yolen. We're actually looking at 2 different areas through the tear trough and cannula under eye, as well as using a device, I believe they're here today, NanoPass, which allows us to do intradermal injections. And so we're looking at that for a skin booster, skin health, and skin quality. Acorn obviously is excited about you and the product that we're able to deliver, the Secretome, but we have a very deep pipeline and deep platform of leveraging some of these next generation technologies in other areas of medicine. And just to call out some of the exciting work that we're doing is, with the NRC, we've actually been able to create natural killer cells on demand through reprogramming the follicle cells. These are the cells that target cancer and senescence. So really thinking about some of the opportunities we have to stave off cancer, but also combat some of these things that will give us longer lives, right? Longer, healthier lives of reducing the amount of senescent cells, these zombie cells in our bodies is very exciting. We've partnered with the University of Toronto to create iPSC banks on demand, and that's ongoing. With the University of Guelph, we've actually created dopaminergic neurons, one of the targets to actually combat Parkinson's disease, which is another exciting regenerative medicine application that I think has some near-term value for patients. With the University of Calgary, we've actually done studies right now injecting intra-articularly joints and demonstrated regrowth of cartilage in animal studies, but also reduction of inflammation and pain. So I think there's some very interesting areas of leveraging the Secretome, not just live cells, very quickly here. Across the board, this is really demonstrating the value of the patient's cells being banked and having an opportunity to have a biologic health insurance policy, really a longevity component inside the practice while using those cells to deliver value today in the world of aesthetics. Thank you so much.